Today for Devotions with Daniela, we are reading The Culting of America, the second book of Daniela, which comes out January 20th. This is chapter 11, just groups. This is the part I need to practice for recording it for my Matreon. Dear reader, imagine entering a space where the air crackles with electricity, the kind of energy that makes your chest feel tight and your skin tingle, where anticipation hums in every breath, and a strange, sacred excitement radiates from the crowd. The people here, thousands of them, are adorned with handmade tokens, beads, and charms clinking together in intricate bracelets, each one a tiny offering. Their clothing is more than fashion. It's coded, symbolic, chosen with near religious devotion to honor distinct phases of a shared mythology. There's a ritualistic energy in the air, like the moment before a sermon or a sacred rite. Faces shine with fervor, eyes wide with reverence. Strangers clasp hands, chant lyrics in unison, and cry without shame. It's not just a gathering, it's a pilgrimage. You feel it in your chest, the unmistakable sensation that you are entering something larger than yourself, something that demands not just your attention, but your transformation. Then the lights drop. The opening notes drift in, familiar, haunting. The crowd erupts. The roar is so unified it does not feel like individual voices, but a single unstoppable wave of sound. It's not applause, it's an invocation. For a moment, it feels like nothing outside exists. Time bends, reality tilts. You are no longer merely an observer. You are inside a story, one that reaches across decades and emotional lifetimes. The journey that follows is seamless, hypnotic. Each chapter flows into the next. Innocence to heartbreak, glitter to grit, rebellion to rebirth. Every costume change, every lighting cue, every breathless pause is part of the ritual. The songs aren't performed, they're lived, reenacted, devoured. The experience becomes an emotional deluge, waves of joy and pain crashing in so rapidly that you can barely stay afloat. The intensity leaves you lightheaded, dissociated. Your body and mind can't keep up with the flood of emotions. Singing along doesn't feel optional. It's mandatory, a call to unify. And as your voice blends into the sea of thousands, you feel seen, understood, and part of something much larger than yourself. Yet that unity comes at a cost. To belong here, you give up a little bit of yourself. Not forever, perhaps, but for the duration of this ecstatic surrender. To fully immerse yourself, you have to shed your individuality, even if only for the night. Your voice disappears into the mass. Your memories fuse with the lyrics. Your boundaries soften until you're not sure whose story is being told. Is it hers or is it yours? By the time the final chorus fades and the lights return to their earthly glow, you're wrung out, exhilarated, and vaguely disoriented. You look around at the glitter-covered faces, the smeared mascara, the strangers who now feel like kin. You've just spent hours in the world of one woman's art and emotion, a place built meticulously and inhabited so fully that leaving it feels like waking from a dream. Only then, as you step outside and catch your breath, does it hit you. This wasn't just any concert. This was the concert. You've just lived through the Eras Tour. You've just been inducted, body, heart, and soul, into the world of Taylor Swift. If you were a teenager when Fearless came out, old enough to be falling in love for the first time, sneaking drinks at high school parties, and dreaming about something bigger, you probably grew up with Taylor. Her heartbreaks mirrored your own. Her reinventions tracked your coming of age. Each album felt like a collective diary entry you didn't know you needed until you hit play. And then there are the millennial women, along with Gen X and older, who didn't discover their inner Swiftie until adulthood. For so many who grew up in the 80s and 90s, speaking your mind or talking about your feelings like they actually mattered wasn't merely discouraged. It was culturally punished. Girls were trained in the fine art of silence, told in 1,000 little ways that our voices were too loud, our feelings too much, ambitions too threatening. So when Taylor sings clear-eyed and unapologetic about betrayal, rebirth, and burning it all down, it feels like more than nostalgia. It's a reckoning, like a kind of vicarious healing session in glitter and stadium lighting. The scream singing session we needed back then, but rarely got. It's a collective exorcism of girlhoods when we were told to step back and be humble, while boys were told to step forward and take charge. And for those whose adolescence was disrupted by trauma, who never got to fully grow into ourselves, it can feel like something close to transcendence, a simultaneous experience of grief and restoration, which, let's be honest, could be the subject of a whole other book. But if you're like my daughter, born into a world where Taylor has always existed, it's not about growing up with Taylor, it's about growing up under her. Taylor's voice is one of the first your nervous system recognizes as safe. Her mythology isn't reflective, but foundational. For my daughter, there is no before, only immersion. And that kind of early and total cultural saturation brings with it a different kind of power and a different kind of risk. Regardless of how you enter Taylor's universe, once you're in it, the concert doesn't end when the lights come up. It imprints itself on your soul, leaving a mark you can't shake off. The community around you feels sacred. A tribe bound together by shared lyrics, inside jokes, and unwavering devotion to the woman at the center. And like any high control experience, it's a transformation. You walk out of that arena feeling both exhilarated and drained, cracked open in a way that feels intimate yet collective. This indoctrination doesn't require force. Sometimes all it takes is one night. You can leave such a concert emotionally raw, soul buzzing, heart vibrating on a new frequency, and not brainwashed. You're just temporarily expanded. And that's a beautiful thing. But it's also when you're most vulnerable. That's when the Hare Krishna guy or the 12 Tribes woman in her flowing skirt is waiting outside, pamphlet in hand, smile just a little too wide, ready to offer you real transcendence. Because they know the music softened you. The shared experience made you porous. And now someone's waiting to catch you in that in-between moment, before your critical thinking kicks back in, before the spell wears off. Group experiences don't need to be manipulative to make you suggestible. The danger isn't always inside the concert. Sometimes it's who's waiting for you just outside the door. And it's important to say, not every moment of deep collective emotion is manipulation. Not every fandom is a cult. I don't think fandoms are cults, even more now that I'm leaving one. I think they're ideologies close to religions. After a concert, you can feel lit up, transformed, more connected to yourself and others. You can be changed without being coerced. But openness isn't neutral. It's a state of possibility and vulnerability. It makes you more receptive, more trusting, more permeable. And that's when it gets tricky, because the concert or the fandom or Taylor Swift herself may not be trying to control you, but someone else might be waiting in the wings. Emotionally expanded people are easier to influence, so proselytizers set up outside concerts, cult recruiters hang out near college campuses and wellness expos, and charismatic entrepreneurs love the post-retreat high. You can get signed copies of Uncultured, of Culting of America. This is how we know I'm a true mom that loves my children, because I get them confused. You can get signed copies of Uncultured attached here. You can also get pre-orders of Culting of America, linked in the bio or attached here. Comes out January 20th. And yes, there's an audiobook.